Guys, my apologies on advance. This video did not come out the way I planned it to be. I wanted to do a how to build a computer. Instead, I did something completely different. This video, I'm not too happy with it. So if you want to leave right now, please go ahead. But if you want to watch me put this computer together and kinda give you a little bit of explanation, then stick around and watch the whole 20-something minute video. Once again, I am sorry, and if you're one of them that hates people with accent, hit the dislike now and leave. It's still a rating and it's still good for me. Like or dislike, it doesn't really matter. So like I said, I am sorry, this video is not how to build a computer. Pretty much is how I build my computers. So my deep apologies with the bottom of my heart. I will get to where I want to be on showing you how to build a computer. I do not have the right equipment for that, but believe me, I promise you right now, stick around this channel and I will make one. So for the meantime, I got more videos coming up. I got Windows 8.1 installed on this computer as well. I got reviews for fans, for anything, power supplies. I got reviews for a whole bunch of stuff. So before I go into this video, I want to thank Tech Uploaded for being part of this build. This build right here would not be completely if it wasn't for Tech Uploaded. So Tech Uploaded, hugs, no homo or homo, it don't matter. So okay, whatever. I love you, Tech Uploaded. Chris is your real name. Thank you, and let's watch this video, shall we? Alrighty, so what you want to do first is you want to get your Intel processor. Now go ahead and get it out of the box. Carefully get it out of the box, okay? And be very careful with it. You don't want to drop it. You don't want anything to happen to it, okay? Get it out. This right here is the i7 4790. We are not going to use the stack cooler, so let's put that back. Make sure that you put your motherboard on top of the box. That's how I do it. That's my preference. So let's go ahead and get this little piece out. This right here. Get the plastic. Okay, get this plastic. It's where the processor is going. Right there, it's got like a little arrow right there. Go ahead and grab that. And that one is gonna go like this. Okay. You put it down carefully. Alright, so we get the CPU here. Okay, we place it down. Now let's go ahead and put it down like that. Okay, it's gonna take a little bit of pressure. Put it in, put it underneath, and there it goes. It locked in place. Now we got the CPU installed. This step right here is before you put it on the case. Okay, step number 2, go ahead and get the RAM. Right here I'm using the ADATA XPG 16 gigabytes. We're gonna put it right here on the first slot. We're gonna open. I'm gonna use the first two. You have to make sure there's a little line right there. You have to make sure that you have it aligned with it. So let's go ahead and put it in. Putting a little pressure into it until it clicks, until it locks in by itself. So let's go ahead and do the other one using the ADATA. Go ahead and put in the RAM. Let's go ahead until it locks in place. You're gonna hear the nice click. And so now we got the power supply. Okay, let's go ahead and leave the cables in here. We'll work on them later. Go ahead and bolt in the power supply. Let's get it working. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get some screws because I'm going to install the power supply. Alrighty, so we got one screw and we're gonna put it in here. Alright, so we got the power supply in. Let's go ahead and close this out. And what we're doing next, we're going to go ahead and get the power supply to the back. Get the power cables. This right here is going to be the motherboard. This is going to be for SSDs and for the hard drive, which is going to be this one here. We're going to leave this out. This one here, it's for the CPU. I mean, yeah, for the core processor. We got one. Let me see these two. These two are going to be on the way. And it's going to be a nice cable. Skill for cable management. Split the cables. Split the cables where they go. And here, CPU. This one here is going to be alrighty. First off, what you want to do is get the plate of the motherboard. Okay, get the plate and put it right here. Okay, put it right there. You gotta kind of put some pressure into it. You gotta hear the click. Okay, this right here, it's the face of the motherboard. We're putting the motherboard down. Okay, putting the motherboard. Make sure it aligns. Make sure it comes in really well. Make sure it comes in well. And there you go. There you go. Putting a little bit of pressure into the motherboard. Go ahead and put the first screw in. Okay. So now we already got the motherboard in place. So now that we got the motherboard, okay, let's go ahead and run the cables to it. Right here, I'm gonna do this one for the CPU, for the motherboard. We run the motherboard cable. Okay, align it well. Get it push in until it clicks. Okay, and make sure it's in all the way. Make sure it locks in the back. Okay, so we got now we got the motherboard comes in through the corner. You gotta find the input of the CPU. Okay, guys, you gotta find it. You gotta fit it in. Boom, simple as that. Okay, now we got the motherboard and we got the CPU. This baby right here. Okay, so we got the motherboard, we got the CPU. Now it's time to run cable management. Okay, so let's go ahead for the USB 0.3. we're gonna use the header. Here it is for the USB 0.3, 3.1. There it goes. Make sure you put it in correctly. Make sure you put it in right. This one here is the audio, HD audio. And we're gonna run the USB 2.0 for the front header. Now all these little cables here, they get on my freaking nerves. I'm gonna put them back here for the meantime. I'm gonna put them up here for the meantime. and we are going to HD audio. We're gonna find it. Where is it? After doing the nightmare of cable management, I went ahead and started setting up the bracket for the H55 water loop cooling for the CPU. We need to keep the CPU nice and cool, so I said, alright, well, after having this nightmare of cable management and shit, it's time for the H55. Now, one of the most important things is make sure your i7-4790K chipset it's running perfectly cold. So make sure you buy a good thermal paste, just the way I did. I got it from Newegg. And as you can see on this video clip, I am installing the H55 CORSAIR. After making my choice where I wanted the radiator with the pull and push configuration to be either at the top or the bottom, I decided to put it as an exhaust. So I got 5 fans pushing air into the case, and I got 2 fans pulling air out of the case. And in between I got the radiator, so that means that my 4790K is gonna be nice and cool. Okay, well, after installing everything, after installing the H55 into the motherboard for the CPU and installing the thermal paste, it's time to do the graphics card. We're gonna get the GTX 780 Ti, the GTX the Asus GeForce GTX 980. It's time to put it on the box, to install it. Let's go ahead and open it. Get the beautiful looking graphics card. Here it is. Here it is, and here it is. Okay, take that out of there. Here we go, here we have it. Okay, here it is, the 980. Here it is. This has got a nice backplate on it. Let's remove the DVI. Let's remove the PCIe input, and let me go ahead and install it on the first PCIe input. Okay, here it goes. First time ever this graphics card installed somewhere. So it won't go nowhere. Okie dokie. Now after the 980 is installed, okay, let me actually take a little picture of it. Now that the GTX 980 it's installed, whoa, let's go ahead and run the cables to it. So it was time to install the cables, the PCIe cables. Now this graphics card uses 6 pin, so pretty much it's like 12 pin, but they're separate. Anyways, so I connected the PCI cables, and now my graphics card is nice, set up and ready to rock and roll. Right after installing my GTX 980, I wanted to put more fans into this case. Now, I ran into a little bit of problem installing the fans. I didn't have some screws and they do not sell them nowhere. I didn't want to run to Lowe's or anything, so I decided to do it my way. I modified the case, where the fans go. So I wanted to put two Corsair SP120s, and you may be asking yourself, Creeper, why do you want to have two SP120s pushing air into the case? Now, why they're called SP? Well, SP is for static pressure. It don't matter how close of an object it's in front of them, they are still going to push air, a lot of air, and that's what I wanted. Even though this case is good for air optimization, even though this case is great for airflow, putting two SP120s Quiet Edition, that was the best choice I did, and that is the reason why I did it. Okay, the fans are in. Okay, we got the fans in, both SP120s Quiet Edition. We want these fans because we want to push air into the case. Right here I may put 140 millimeter fan. It all depends. It all depends. Well, I finally installed the 140 millimeter fan to help with the airflow. We want to keep things cool, like I said. And this computer is not going to have a DVD player, so who really uses that nowadays? So give it a thumbs up for this mod. After installing the fans where I wanted them to be, it was time for me to connect all the 4-pin connectors to the motherboard, but I came to a little problem. I had way too many fans. Like I said, I used my two nzxt fans. I put them at the top, pushing air into the case. I put the 140 millimeter, and I put the two SP120s. And I came across a little problem. Using all the connectors of the motherboard, I was running short. So I ended up running short on one fan, and I had to get a fan controller into the case. Now that was my only option to complete this build, to have everything running. So let's go ahead and take a look how I installed this fan controller. Now I'm gonna fast forward this right here because it took me like maybe more than half an hour, and I'm not gonna put that here, so I'll just fast forward it. Right there I found a little hole where I was gonna screw the little motherboard of the fan controller. Now I removed the original case from the fan controller. This right here is an old fan controller that I had here. Well, not really old, I purchased it this year. But anyways, so right there you're seeing me, I was having a hard time trying to connect the 4-pin controller. I mean the 4-pin into the power supply. I was having a hard time. So it was time for me, like right here you're looking at me. I'm finally connecting the last fan. It's one of the fans that go into the exhaust of the H55 radiator. So right there guys, right there, after doing all the cable management, after making sure all the cables were connected and everything, it was right about time for me to go ahead and connect the power cord into the back of the computer, into the power supply. So right there, what I'm doing, I power on the computer, and right here is one of the greatest moments. If I didn't get blown up in here, BAM! Then I did something right. So we can see the lights of the motherboard. They're like turned on, and they're like flashing. So it was time for me to power on the computer and do the first ever boot up. So wish me luck right there. It started. It's starting. It's recognizing. Starting. We got something. We got A2, we got D7. We got blue LED down here. We got one fan. Which fan is this one? One fan quit working. I got really freaked out when I didn't see that fan spinning. But it had to do with the BIOS configuration and the whole fan system configuration, and that is something neat, you know what I'm saying, for power management kind of thing. One fan is working, one is still not working. Got two fans in the front. Okay, I put it on low. We have the computer running. Okay, so there it goes. It is running. This fan up here, why is it not running? Okay, as you can see, guys, I got all the fans in the front. Right here is where the DVD is supposed to be, the DVD player, but I don't want to put any in there. Tilt the camera down. Right here I got these two fans. I can put it up on high, boost it up. They're very quiet. Very quiet. After everything, after all the hard work that I did today, you can see I got an SSD, I got 1 terabyte hard drive. After everything I did today, it turned out really well. Let's do one more startup. One more. If you are a PC builder, or if this is your first time ever booting up a computer, actually this is my second time, the joy, the greatness of not getting blown up by your own computer, or not blowing the CPU or your graphics card because you connected something wrong. I mean, everything's pretty much basic. Like, you plug in here, almost every cable has its name, so there's no way that you can get lost in here. But anyways, the joy, it's super amazing. This right here is my second build ever. I did put a little bit of money on this build. If you want to buy it, the list of parts, it's going to be in the description. And if you made it this far into the video, and if you are interested on me building you a computer, you put the price. You said, Creeper, I got $700, or I got $1,000, or I got $500. I can build you a computer that can smash the PS4 frames per second. I can build a computer that can kick the Xbox One ass. That I can kick both of them asses for a good budget build. So it's weird, yes, it's a little weird that I'm getting into building PCs, but you know what? It's so fun. Now, this video right here is really not how to build a computer, because the video didn't come out the way I wanted it. I don't have all the cameras to shoot every single angle, so I apologize for that. Soon here in the future, I'm going to be getting some more cameras, better equipment for, you know, PC build and everything. So I may do another build. I'm going to continue to do builds. First, I want to sell this one. I may change everything into a different case. I don't know.